Er begleitet Städte 5 Jahre lang, um ihnen zu helfen, sich zu verbessern. Sein Projekt nennt sich Delivery Change Foundation. Er hat bereits in seinem Vortrag darüber gesprochen. Sein Name Abhijit Pawar. Nice to meet you. So, after spending 5 years of being a community supported by your foundation, is it still working since they are independent then?
Very much. You're talking of the women's community?
No, I'm talking about the communities you're going there and helping with the infrastructure and things. Yes. But since you left there, like you can't be there the whole time, right. Is it still working or do you have to come back several times?
No, so it works independently. We have a system and a process and a format which allows them to do it. So I was never directly involved from the first stage in the first place. So when we created it, it was built to be independent. So yes, it's working.
Okay. Now thinking the other way around, what could be the reason for communities first asking for your help, but then refusing advice? Did it happen already?
First of all, we don't give an advice. What we do is we don't tell them what they should do or what they should not do. I think communities and the stakeholders within the communities, whether it's women or youth, are fully capable of understanding what their problems are and what the solutions should be. If they don't have a solution, then they approach us and say, we have a problem here, we've tried this, but can you help us? And then what we do is we lead them towards the experts or towards the government or the schemes that are out there, which then allow that solution to be implemented.
Okay, so when you were talking about the women's rights, there have been laughter in the whole room. What would you say is the difference between the way of solving problems of women and the youth in comparison to the men?
Well, when we say women, it's far more mature, the communities that we deal with, because she's already solving problems. If you look at what typically happens is that, and this is across the world, it's not only in India, but she knows how to manage the family, she knows how to manage the business, and both really strike a balance between the two. So the patience, the resilience, the way of handling is far more effective than only a man handling a particular problem. In the case of youth, I think they're much more dynamic, right? You want quick solutions, it's a quick fix. So youth are still, I think, more idealistic. They dream about change very quickly. They get frustrated if it doesn't happen quick. So you see the different attitudes. I think the patience and the less patience is the real difference. But if you're energized, if you're having enough will to make a change, make a difference, I think success does come eventually.
So one of the foundations is settled here in Karlsruhe, the Global Inspiration Network. Now I am wondering for what reason this connection is necessary looking at the whole project. What is the youth doing here?
Yeah, so the Global Inspirator Network is something that we want to then establish in whichever part that we decide to work in. So there's not only the Global Inspirator Network, but also the Women's Network. Because let's say, for example, if we do start working with Karlsruhe as a city, and you've heard about the Smart City initiative, it's important that the citizens are engaged and the youth are engaged in a manner which makes a difference. So from that aspect, we're looking at starting it. We haven't started it, but we've got the initial response from students who are very keen to join this process.
Mm-hmm. So you were talking about these courses in Tel Aviv. How do you teach leadership? Shortly summarized, like in these short courses, like it's such a difficult topic.
Well, I agree. I mean, in the sense, it's not easy for a student, whichever area is studying, to know how to start a business. You may be an engineer, you may be whichever field you're in, and you say you want to be independent. How do you start? How do you get the capital from? How do you make a business plan? Who do you submit? Where do you pay your taxes, and so on and so forth? But it's not that it's difficult. It's just that I think the education system is not designed or doesn't have those options. In Israel, which is considered as a startup nation, where I think for survival you have to start a business anyways, because the jobs are not as many. So they've created these programs where the leadership development is encouraged at a very young age. It's not that difficult, it's easy. Even in the US they have such programs. And all we're doing is getting the best programs out of the world and sort of launching them in whichever city or part of the world they're needed. And I think in Germany, from what I've heard, is that quite often the youth are if they wish to do business, they really don't have that necessary guidance. I believe now startup funds and things have started, but there's still scope for improvement.
Thanks for sharing your experiences. It was really nice talking with you. Ja, und damit geht's dann hier auch gleich weiter.
Thank you.